Hey guys, what's up? Kelvin here. Today we're going to be looking at basic introduction to regular expressions, a way that you can write patterns. So if you haven't noticed, I haven't uploaded a video in a while, and that's because I've been super busy working on some other projects and some other studies. So again, I'm super sorry that I haven't uploaded a video. I'm going to try to get back on that YouTube train, working on some videos, and this is going to be the first one in that catalog. So with regular expressions, it can get super complicated, and there are a ton of different aspects of regular expressions, ranging from with theory to various methods of implementation. Today we're just going to be looking at the introduction to why you use it, and some basic, what we call metacharacters, that we can use to match on various sorts of patterns. Before we start, I just want to say that going into this video, I'm not expecting you to have any prerequisite knowledge of regular expressions. Heck, it's okay if you haven't even heard of the term regular expressions before you even saw the title of this video, though I know many of you guys will have heard of it and just not have used it. So the thing to understand about regular expressions is that there are two types of characters in regular expressions. There are regular characters, so letters, numbers, things like that, that you can use to match on something literal, right? So if I type in A into a regular expression, it will literally match on a case-sensitive A, whether that be lowercase or uppercase, depending on what I put into a regular expression. Or there are metacharacters. Metacharacters carry a special meaning. So for example, a period in a regex is not literally interpreted as a period unless I escape it, which I will demonstrate later. A period means any character. It's a wildcard character. So that's an example of a metacharacter, and metacharacters are powerful because it's what gives regex its flexibility in terms of what it can match. So, in order to help you to understand why we'd want to use regular expressions, let's look at a spot where we'd want to use them. So, here I've got a sample of a show IP interface brief route output off a router. So you can see here I've defined 6 loopbacks, each with different IP addresses. So, imagine if this were not 6 loopbacks, but rather 1,000 loopbacks. I needed to filter through them all quickly to match a set of conditions. Like, let's say I needed all of the IP addresses started with 10. Let's say I had more complex criteria that I needed to match, like the first octet has to be either a 10 or a 12, and the third octet has to be either a 0 or a 4. I can use regular expressions to quickly and efficiently match on all of that. And you can see that's what I've done in the 2 example regular expressions that I've made below. So let's say that I wanted to find all the loopbacks that began with a 10 address. Well, that's easy. I do an include. This is iOS. This is included tools to do output filtering, and iOS's tools for the most part use regular expressions to do output filtering. So include, that's what this INC is, and then a regular expression. So in this case, this is saying match on literally a 1 and a 0. Regexes do character-based matching. So literally match on a 1 and a 0 following after it. Well, you can see that we have this, right? 1 0 1 0. So you might be asking, well, what's this backslash dot for? Couldn't you have just done 10 and would have matched? Well, sure, but let's say I had a loopback 10, right? And I didn't want to match on that. That would match on that unless I added more specificity. So the important thing to keep in mind with regular expressions is that there are multiple ways to accomplish the same thing. There are multiple regular expressions that will bring you to the same end result, but it all depends on A, how you want to write the expression, and B, how specific you want to be in avoiding false positives. So that's what this backslash period is for. And as I mentioned in the intro of this video, a period is a metacharacter because a period by default will match on any character. So if I wanted to match specifically on a period, if I want to literally match a period, I need to insert this escape character, a backslash. And if you have messed around in code or if you're a programmer, then you will be familiar with the escape character, since it's fairly standard for not just regular expressions but other things as well, like if you want to escape quotes in strings in a programming language, for example. So that's one example of a usage of regular expressions, but you can see here that I can use regular expressions to match on way more complex criteria than might otherwise be possible just through regular filtering. So that's one of the primary reasons that we may want to use regular expressions. It's in order to be able to match on more complex criteria to be able to efficiently parse through our long outputs and to be able to quickly look for what we're looking for and get on with our day, because it's very repetitive to have to go through a long string of output and manually highlight the 10 addresses or whatever we're looking for. And it's really nice to be able to have this pattern that we can match stuff against in order to parse through our output and quickly return what we're looking for so we can go on to do what we were actually going to do with that output. With that out of the way, I want to go ahead and look at some basic metacharacters that we can use to do some matching on some basic patterns. So the first one to uncover, I've already talked about in this video, it's a period. So a period is not, again, it's not matched literally. None of these metacharacters are matched literally unless you escape them with a backslash. But a period is going to be used in order to match any character. So any character, whether it be an alphabetical letter, a number, or a special character or whatever, even a space, you can match with a period. Next, we have a backslash. And a backslash, as you saw earlier, is used in order to escape a character. So let's say that I had a period and wanted to match on it literally, you would have to say backslash period. The funny thing is that if you wanted to match on a backslash literally, because it is a meta character, it's not counted literally, you have to escape it by doing backslash backslash, kind of like the beginning of a UNC path. The thing with a backslash is that it's not always used to escape meta characters. So there are a ton of meta characters that are based on real letters. So let's say backslash W to match on word characters. The thing is that you need to escape that to turn it into a meta character. So the meta character becomes backslash W because you're telling regex you don't want to match on W literally, you need to use it as a meta character. Same thing with a meta character. If you want to match on a period, as you saw, you should be doing backslash period. And that's where that comes in, because it's not always, I like to think of it as flipping the status, right? If it's a literal character, backslash a literal character will flip it into a meta character, and backslash a meta character flips into a literal character. It's used to reverse its status in a sense. So this is Kelvin after the fact. I was editing the video and I noticed I didn't do a particularly good job of explaining what the asterisk and the plus did. In fact, I made a mistake while explaining it. So what I said in my explanation was that the asterisk's purpose is to see whether a character repeats none or more times, and the purpose of a plus is to see whether a character repeats one or more times. That's not technically true. I know the actual definition, so I don't know why I said repeat, but I'm going to go ahead and correct it now anyway. So the asterisk, the purpose of that is to see whether a character occurs 0 or more times, and the purpose of a plus is to see whether a character occurs 1 or more times. And so that's how the difference between repeat and occur is important for this reason. So let's go ahead and look at these 4 strings of text here. We've got meow suck without an S, we've got meow sucks with 1 S, 2 S's, and 3 S's. So if I start off with the regex meow suck, that matches on all 4 of them because all 4 of them have meow suck as a section of text somewhere in there. If I add 1 S, then it will only match on these 3 because this top string doesn't have an S at the end. Remember, regexes do literal matching without meta characters. So this will do a literal match for meow sucks in all caps. Now, if I add an asterisk here, all of a sudden, this regex will match all of these strings, and you might be wondering why. Well, this asterisk here, again, says that if this character occurs none or more times, it's okay. So basically, in layman's terms, what that's saying is, I don't care whether this character is in the string at all, and if it is, I don't care how many times it's in the string, right? So in this case, this regex would match on all of them because let's go down one by one. At the top, we've got meow suck without an S, but the asterisk is saying I don't care if it's in there. So because it's not in there and it doesn't care, it's going to return true. Now, here's the second one, meow sucks. Now, here we do have an S. We have 1 S, And that's saying, okay, so an S can be in there 0 or more times. So 1 is more than 0, so we're good there. And the same thing for twice and thrice. So that's an asterisk. And remember that an asterisk, and a lot of other metacharacters as well, will match on the preceding characters. So in this case, we have S asterisk. If I change that to an S plus to say occur 1 or more times, then what we're going to have is a case where it's similar to meow sucks without the plus. It's going to match on these three only and not the top one, but it's going to match on them for a different reason. So let's go ahead and go down one by one again. So here at the top, we don't have an S here at all, and this is saying that it has to occur 1 or more times. So this top string won't be matched by this regex at all. If we go down to our second one here, we do have one S, and 1 is 1 or more, so we're good there. It'll return true, and so on and so forth for the second and third with 2 and 3 S's respectively. So that's what I wanted to explain here for asterisk and plus. It's a very subtle difference from what I said in the original clip, but I just wanted to clarify to make sure that no one was confused and that I didn't get anyone potentially in the comments saying that I was wrong. So yeah, hopefully this clears up for you, and I'm going to pass it on to me from a few days ago. So the next two meta characters I want to look at are the caret and the $sign. And these match on the beginning and match on the end, respectively. So think of the caret and the $sign as anchors, right? They anchor at the beginning and they anchor at the end. So another way to think of it is kind of thinking of it as phantom characters, right? So at the beginning, think of the caret as being a phantom character you can't see, but that's there and can be matched on using regex. So in the case I wanted to match on only this, right? I don't want to match on the second or the third. I could say caret meow sucks and then $sign. And what this does is essentially it does an exact match on meow sucks without any other characters, because this is the beginning, and what it's saying is that at the beginning the first letter should be M. Whoops. The first letter should be M, and what it's saying here is this $sign indicates the end, so the S should be the last letter in that string. So it would match on the first one, but not the second or the third, because there's an extra S and an extra 2 S's respectively. Now, where this becomes useful is, let's say that we only wanted to match on the first three and not this. Because regex is only looking for that pattern somewhere in the string. Doesn't matter if it's the beginning, doesn't matter if it's in the middle, end, or anywhere in between. As long as somewhere in that string you have some sequential set of text that matches on the regex, it will return true. So let's say that I go back to this little regex here, right? This would match on everything here, believe it or not, because this last one, we have meow sucks in there somewhere, even though it's being surrounded by God knows what text. So that's why we need to be more specific with our regexes, and we can use meta characters to help us be more specific. So if we only want to match on the first three, I can say caret M, and what that's saying is at the beginning, the first letter has to be an M. And the first character here is an E, so that makes it such that this regex will only match on these first three. So the last two meta characters that I wanted to look at, or last four you could say, are going to be your opening and closing parentheses and your opening and closing brackets. So the opening and closing brackets, specifically, you may have seen me use in one of the examples earlier, but we'll cover the parentheses first. So the parentheses are used to denote capture groups, and capture groups are essentially groups of regex characters, right? So let's say here that I had this regular expression. I could put this in parentheses, and what that lets me do is apply other meta characters against that, right? So let's say that I wanted to make sure that the entirety of meow sucks were repeated instead of just meow, just the S, right? I could essentially say plus, and if I said plus here, it would match on nothing here, because it would need something like meow sucks in order to be able to match against it. Because what it's essentially saying is that this entire capture group has to be repeated at least once. So you can see there we're grouping regex clauses in a sense into a single group, and then we can refer to that specific group with our other meta characters that we can, so that we can do more advanced matching. So this is going to be used to denote capture groups. And the brackets are used to denote a range of characters. And here's what I mean by that. So with a period, we're matching on any character. But let's say that instead of matching on any character, we want to match on a range of characters. So here, let me go ahead and clear out this text. And let's say that we wanted to match on meow sucks F, meow sucks G, meow sucks H. And you know what, sure, meow sucks 1 and meow sucks 2. So let's say that I only want to match on these 3. Well, let's see, if I were to do meow sucks and then period, well, that would match on everything right here except for the top one. If I did this, it would match on everything. So I need to use brackets to denote a range of characters. And how we do that is I can open the bracket, I'll say FG1. And that will complete our goal. So every single character in that range of brackets denotes a character that is acceptable. So here, right, it's kind of like an array, right? It's an array of acceptable characters there. So when the regex engine goes through and parses that text, it'll see, okay, meow sucks F. Well, let's see, meow sucks definitely matches, and then we have a range of acceptable characters, and look, F is in there. Cool, done. And meow sucks G, cool, G is in there, and then H, well, H isn't in here, so we can't have that, so return false for that. And meow sucks 1, well, 1 is in here, and so return true for that. So it's used in order to match on a range of different characters without matching on any character. So those are some basic meta characters. There are some other resources such as Google that you can use to learn about more advanced regex theory and other meta characters that you can use to match on more advanced patterns. But that should be enough to get you started on matching some patterns. The last thing that I wanted to cover in this video was some implementations of regex that you can use to match on output. So for example, I wanted to bring you to the terminal here. Because Linux, and I'm running Mac OS, so there's Unix in here, has a tool called grep. And grep can be used to match on regex. There's also egrep and fgrep, but those are more advanced implementations. For now, we'll just stick with basic grep. So let's say that I have something like IP address show that lists a ton of output. First of all, you have to pipe into it, right? So I'll pipe all of the output from this command here, IP address show, and I'll pipe it into grep. And let's say that I want to match on anything where the beginning of the line is an L. So I'll say caret because that's an anchor for the beginning of the line, and I'll say L. And you can see here it shows me any line that begins with an L. Also, if I wanted to, I could say inet, and that'll show me all of the IP addresses that are assigned due to the computer at the moment. So I have my loopback addresses, my IPv6 loopback addresses, and then I've got my actual address, the broadcast, and all that. So it's a way to be able to parse through very quickly all of these interfaces and pick up all of the IP addresses. And so there you can see part of the power of regexes. So another place where we could use regex in the command line is with PowerShell. So I'm running on a Mac, so I have PowerShell core installed. So I may not have as many PowerShell commands as Windows has available, but I'm going to just run get command, quite frankly, because I couldn't think of any other command to run. And we can see here we've got a ton of output. And let's say that I want to only look at commandlets that have an E or an F as their first letter. So first I would grab the name of the column, right? So in this case, name, and then I'll say get command, similar to how we did it in bash or ZSH in that particular case. I'll pipe it, and then I'll say where object, which is PowerShell's way of doing filtering, and $sign underscore dot name, which is the name of the column, and then I'll say dash match, and then provide my regex in quotes. So here I'll say, let's say caret, which is going to anchor the beginning of that column's data, and bracket EF, close off the quotes, close off the braces, and if I go ahead and enter, you can see it's not exact. I would have to do another match to match on just the commandlets, but I don't mind the functions and alias in here. But you can see here, everything in this original result where the name began with a capital E or capital F, because again, regexes are case sensitive, you can see here are matched by this regex, and it only returns that specifically to me. And finally, because I'd be remiss if I didn't bring at least some form of Cisco in here, let's bring some form of Cisco in here. So let's look at the running config here for a second. So if on a typical router, right, the running config is super long since there's a ton of miscellaneous configurations in it. But if we go through, and especially in this case, because we've got these banner disclaimers on the viral images, if I go down here and I say show run and I want to filter some output, we can. So let's do it on the interfaces just because. So we're going to pipe the show run output just like we did in the terminal and PowerShell into a section, right? So in iOS, section means match on a regex but return the entire section of text associated with that particular level rather than just returning that line like it would in include. So section, and then if I do a question mark, you can see line regular expression, and that means type regular expression. So we will. So here in the regular expression, we can say loopback 013, and if I do that, you'll see as soon as this finishes parsing that it will only return the interface configurations for interface loopback 0, 1, and 3. You can also do, instead of section, include loopback 013, or I can do section exclude, and you can see here that if I do a section exclude, and it will take that entire section of text and exclude it from the configuration instead of include it when we get the output. So I hope you enjoyed this little overview of regular expressions. I know I went into a little bit of detail, so if you have any questions at all, any confusion, go ahead and drop a comment below. In addition, if you have any feedback for these videos, if you just want to say hi, whatever, just go ahead and drop down the comments below. I love hearing from you guys. I love responding to your comments and to the community and helping out where I can. If you enjoyed the video, go ahead and leave a like below. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any new videos, and turn on notifications to help with that as well. And I hope to see you in the next video. Trust me, this will not be the end of regular expressions related videos on the channel. I don't know if the next video in particular is going to be on it. I haven't decided on the topic for the next video. It may be on regular expressions, but I hope that this introduction helped you to better understand regular expressions, why we use them, and some basic usages. And yeah, I hope to see you in the next video, whatever it may be. And until then, have fun, guys. More Cisco, or in this case, more regular expressions. Do either.